This is the plaintiff, Ernestine Elzie. She says the defendant owes her $1,500 and refuses to pay her. He agreed to pay her back the money she's owed. He reneged on his promises. And she's here suing the defendant for the $1,500 she's owed. This is the defendant, Tariq Nazir. He says the plaintiff's involved in a messy family situation regarding a house he purchased, and she's now trying to extort money from him. The woman caused her brother to have a nervous breakdown. She doesn't deserve a penny of his money, and he thinks the judge will agree. He's accused of going back on his word.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant promised to pay her $1,500 back, but didn't. The defendant says this is pure, simple extortion that got so bad, the plaintiff's brother had a nervous breakdown. It's in the case of break it down, bro.
Thank you, Douglas. Ernestine Elzie?
Yes.
You are suing Tariq Nasir and Stronghold Property Investments?
Yes.
For $1,500 that you say he owes you under an agreement that he entered into with you that he has, according to you, somewhat sidestepped and then ended up not complying with. Tell me what happened here.
Okay. Good afternoon, Judge. It's a pleasure to meet you. I want to say 2010, the defendant got in touch with me. I was the conservator for my brother's property since 1999.
Why were you the conservator for your... That means that you were adjudicated by...
Yes.
He was adjudicated incompetent, and you were appointed by a court to handle all of his affairs or just his property?
To answer all the... handle all of his affairs.
Okay.
So, actually, he had the property. I was keeping the tax.
He had property where?
He had property in Philadelphia, PA.
In Philadelphia?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I was taking care of the taxes.
May I just ask you the nature of your brother's incompetency?
Well, he had a nervous breakdown.
Okay.
No.
So what happens? There's a piece of property in Philadelphia that's in your brother's name.
Yes. And that's the property I was concerned.
And at some point, the defendant contacts you because he's interested in purchasing the property.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And what happens?
Well, I told him I could not sign off on the property because I needed to go, I was told in my orders that I needed to go through Orphan's Court to sign off or do anything with the property.
Yeah, because it's not your personal property. It's something that you have a trustee relationship to. Okay.
That's what I told him.
But did you call your brother and say, hey, you want to sell that property?
Well, he did. In a way, he did. But my nephew was on him about the property.
Saying?
Saying that he was going to rehab the property so that my brother could live in it. So he kept nagging my brother. He finally sold him the property for $1.
So wait, your brother sold his son
the property for $1. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that happened when?
2008. Okay. I want to say 2008 because I have a tax
and then what happens?
certificate. What happened in last year, which I would believe the defendant was in touch with my nephew. He said he had been and he wanted to sell it to him. So that's where we go from there.
Okay, Mr. Nasir.
Yes.
When did you buy the property?
2011.
And who did you buy the property from?
I actually purchased the property from the son.
And when did the son, you know what time of day it is, so
yes.
I want you to start talking. I don't want to have to pull teeth like a dentist. So tell me how this happened. First of all, what's so hot about this property? It's in a perfect spot for what?
It's in a perfect spot for redevelopment.
Right, develop what? Not a house, but an apartment building.
For an apartment building.
For how big can you go?
You can go with this, but that particular building was, I believe, they got 4 units out of it, the eventual.
Okay, so you see that spot, you want that spot, you look it up. Who owns it when you look it up?
The father.
Okay, and so you go to approach him, and what does he say?
I approach the father, and he says, talk to my son.
And so you approach his son, and what does he say?
The son says, I would like to sell you the property, but I can't because my aunt won't let me.
And does he explain why the aunt is even relevant?
Yes.
And what does he say?
He tells me that he has a long-running feud with his aunt.
Over what?
Over the house.
Because?
Because she listed the property on the MLS for sale, but could not find a buyer because she was not listed as the owner, she was listed as conservator.
How do you get you suggest to the father to deed it to the son?
No. When the son approached the aunt about selling the property, signing the property over, she refused. Then the father in frustration, signs the property over to the son.
At whose suggestion?
At the son's suggestion. I was not in contact
How much did
with
you
him at the
offer
time.
these folks for the property?
$50,000.
Yes.
How much is the property worth?
It sold for $112,000.
That's my.
It sold to a developer?
To a developer.
So you flipped it for, if you're being honest, at least by your own admission, you flipped it for over 100% of what you paid for it.
Yes. But there's a twist to it.
There's more of a twist?
Yes, there's more of a twist to it. We came to Miss Elsie and asked her what she wanted for the property. At that point, it was my nephew's a bum. He shouldn't have it. I don't know what's going on with my brother. I don't talk to my brother. I haven't spoken to him in 10 years.
Had you not spoken to your brother in years?
Judge, that is not true. My brother and I have a perfect relationship. You're telling me that I listed the property for sale?
Don't talk to him directly. Talk to me.
He's saying that I listed the property for sale. I never did that. Someone forged my name, spelling my name wrong, and I think he knows something about it. There was another party involved, a Jarvon. The defendant came to me and says, you need to talk to Javon so I can get the property back. It was somehow taken from Narik. So I don't know what happened. There was so much was going on.
Wait. Who's Javon?
He was a gentleman who actually, I'm going to call him a gentleman, who had a fraudulent...
You called him a thief in your answer to the complaint.
Who had a fraudulent deed recorded against the property.
How did totally unrelated guy?
A totally unrelated guy in Philadelphia. It's really easy. You get a deed notarized, you record it with the city, you pay your taxes, and they're obligated to record and change the title. And I approached her and I said,
what's going on in Philadelphia?
It's a mess, Judge.
I approached Miss Elsie,
really is.
and I said, listen, someone has stolen the property.
They didn't steal the property. They filed a fraudulent document. The property's right there, alive and well, and living in the corner of whatever intersection.
Well, they tangled the title.
Yeah.
And I told her immediately. I said, listen, as soon as I realized, I said, someone is taking this property.
What interest do you have in talking to her about the Tangled title at that point? Where are you in your little process?
Where I'm at is I'm trying to get what they call clear title.
Because you've already paid off the nephew? Have you paid the nephew the money and closed on it?
No.
Yeah.
So you're trying to. You've settled with him on a price. You want to pay $50,000 for
yes.
it. I don't blame you.
We've settled on a price.
You can't because you're looking at the title and the title is clouded up with
multiple issues.
Somebody else's name. So did you ever find that guy?
Yes, I actually did find a guy. And I approached him and I said, what do you want to do? I'm going to report
Wait, what do you want to do? You didn't say, hold on, I'm calling the police, to stay where you are, freeze. I'm calling the police, like what?
No, I'm going to report you to the authorities if you do not relinquish the property.
And
he agreed to relinquish the property.
And?
For $1,100.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding. There's a thief out there.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with you. He's not your friend. He's not your anything. He's not somebody you use to tangle up stuff for leverage and negotiations with this unknown
he was actually
family.
a felon.
Whoever he is, a felon. And so you said to him, I'm going to tell the police about your felony. And then he says to you, okay, pay me $1,100.
Yes.
And you say yes?
What I say to him is yes, on the condition that he comes to settlement and signs at the settlement table. Here's the thing. In order for me to get him legally off of the title, I would have to file the actual quiet title. I didn't have standing to do that. The only person who had standing to do that was Miss Elsie, who says, I'm not dealing with the guy.
That's right.
And in the meantime, there's a demolition order from
maybe you just got to get your nose out of these people's business and find another property to make money off.
Well, in the meantime, there's
why is it that you get to pay off and this is important because what happens that nobody's talked about yet, and this is actually the subject of the lawsuit, so let me go over this with you, is that you finally say, fine, everybody wants to sell this, that's fine, but I've been carrying this place for X number of years paying the taxes on it, because she pays the taxes.
Correct,
and then,
Judge.
so you were out $3,000 in taxes.
Yes.
So you negotiate a deal with him, you negotiate a deal with her, that she'll lay off if you pay her back what she's paid in taxes, which was $3,000. You then pay her how much? You agree that you entered into this agreement with her, right?
Yes.
And so you pay her a down payment of how much?
$1,500.
And then you sign a promissory note that you're going to pay her the remaining $1,500.
Yes.
So why aren't you paying this lady the amount you agreed to pay her? Because all she's doing is coming to court and not trying to have you arrested for bamboozling her brother
And I know,
or any other such thing.
Exactly.
All she wants is what you promised her you'd pay her and to recompense her for taxes that she paid on the property. And you did. You looked me right in the eye and told me, yeah, I agreed I'd pay her that, and I haven't. Why not?
Why do families fight so much over money?
Greed.
I get it. No, I get it. But why families? Why does it happen in families so much?
Because they love each other and it's just nothing else to really fight about.
So this is like the fine line between love and hate.
Yeah.
I get it. What do you think? Why do they fight over money so much, families?
Because they all think it's theirs, because they're family.
I got to tell you, I think there's truth in that, going inside the courtroom.
There was an expectation of her cooperation. She says, no.
Wait. What did you need her to do?
I needed her to come to settlement
And do what?
and sign a deed.
Yeah, but it didn't matter because the guy had already encumbered it. You needed him to do that.
And I needed him, I needed her.
Okay, let me tell you what it smells like to me, pal. It smells like to me that you had to pay an additional $1,100 to Javon the thief at settlement in order to get your $50,000 property that you were able to sell for $112,000 a year later. It sounds to me that because you were out an additional $1,100, you didn't want to pay her the amount that you had indebted to her. So in other words, it cost you another $1,100 to pay off a thief, and somehow she needs to pay that because she did what wrong?
What she did wrong was she didn't pay the taxes.
Pay what?
She used her brother's money to pay the taxes.
No.
Your business. That's a brother's lawsuit against her. Tell me what you're beefing. Oh, ma'am, you so do not have to interrupt right now.
Of yourself.
Here, well, hold on.
I'm sorry, Judge.
It's all working in your favor.
I know better than this.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Trust me, I am going to take it to the promised land right now.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
You tell me why you are making this lady sit with a $1,500 hole in her heart because you didn't make enough money on that property. It's $1,500 you agreed to pay that you haven't. And the reason why is because she breached what duty to you?
What didn't she do?
Yeah.
She did not.
You're saying she breached this
Yes.
agreement, so I don't have to abide by it. What did she fail to do that was her duty to do? Because I read the agreement, and her only duty is to collect your $1,500. So I'm dying to know what you say she did wrong.
Well, one, she refused to cooperate with law enforcement. She refused to cooperate with the title company.
You didn't go to law enforcement.
Oh,
You went
yes.
straight to Javon
No,
because you know
that's
that it
not
was going to
true.
take you a
We had a
year
conversation
to
in our
clear
living
and
room.
quiet title, and you're a businessman, and you needed to turn
Yes.
that profit and turn it fast, and you needed to get it before anybody wisened up to the value of the property. And so you immediately offered the thief $1,100 to clear your problems, and then now somehow that becomes her problem that you decided to pay off the thief.
Her words were, I don't want anything to do with it.
That's right. I don't want anything to do with
In a
it
minute.
because I'm gonna rule, and then I'm gonna get off the bench, and then I'm gonna take a shower.
It's that dirty. I know. It's that dirty.
$1,500 verdict for the plaintiff.
Good. I gotta go no further. Thank you, Judge. You see right through him because that's what he is. Little pimp.
So the defendant here leaving the promised land, how did it go for you in there?
It didn't go well.
No? Why do you think not?
Well, there was a lot of things that weren't talked about. The fact is that Miss Elsie was extorting her nephew and her brother.
What does that have to do with you? Not paying her what you owe her.
And she was extorting me.
Extorting you.
Yes,
We didn't hear about that.
exactly. She really had nothing to do with the deal at all. The fact that she even extracted $3,000 out of someone was just...
You didn't pay what you owed.
Well,
All right, head right down there. All right, so step on in here and...
How are you?
Good. What do you make of all this? How was the promised land for you?
The promised land was beautiful. The judge seen right through him. He lied on me about selling the property and never did that because I was a conservator for my brother, wanted to make sure everything was fair with him. And I never attempted to sell that property. And because I wouldn't sign off being the conservator, he gave me the promissory note thinking this was going to, he gave it to me on the date we were there.
Yeah.
Thinking,
All
okay,
right.
she'll
Are you glad
sign.
you're rid of this property?
I'm glad I'm rid of it. Well, no, not really, because he's made a lot of money. And
All
it's
right.
a shame.
Harvey?
You know, this defendant is a con, and I think it really raises a good issue that somebody can be really nicely dressed, a suit and tie, a dress, whatever. That doesn't mean they are going to be honorable with you, and you've got to be cautious. It may be a sad commentary, but it's true.